Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Collinwood for YouTube back with another Dark Shadows video for you guys. Here comes the bride part 4. Millicent Collins Forbes marries Lieutenant Nathan Forbes. This is interesting because unlike the previous two, this marriage actually involves someone's brother. And what I mean by that is, keep in mind, it's not like Elizabeth had a younger brother. She married Paul. It, it's not like, well, Barnabas had a younger sister, but Angelique wasn't after money. So here's Millicent, and Lieutenant Nathan Forbes has taken interest in her. He's dating her, and as they're coming up to Collinwood, they're laughing. They seem to be having fun together. Then Forbes looks back in the woods. He's like, "Is that Barnabas?" Like, no, she's like, "No, that can't be Barnabas. Barnabas is in England, England." And he's like, uh, Here. Keep in mind, up until this point, Forbes has not turned heel yet, but he's about to. And this is what I've always found odd about this. It's when he turns heel. Keep in mind Angelique's curse here, and I'll get into that here in a second. But Forbes is saying, "No, I just look like Barnabas. I saw Barnabas." And even when they go in the house, him and Millicent are having a good time, and there's a knock on the door, and he's like, "Hey, maybe Barnabas has finally decided to come in from the outside." He's joking about it. He did. Lieutenant Nathan Forbes doesn't know Barnabas is dead. Barnabas died. It's like, because keep in mind, Forbes being in the military, he must have went away for a period of time enough to where he didn't know what had gone on. And so that, because keep in mind, before this, he was up at the Collins family house pretty often. And so he also, what we learned about him is he also has a wife. And Suki, Suki Forbes. Could you make this up if you tried? I love this name, Suki. I'm not laughing at it to make fun of it. I love the name. So, lo and behold, here's this man who answers the door, and he's shocked to see, like, what are you doing here? Like, why? Like, we haven't seen each other. So she's like, I want in. She goes, I want, I want some. He's like, and did did Nathan care for Suki? Here's the thing: Nathan wouldn't have killed Suki, and I'll state that here now. Even though he's about to become a heel, he wouldn't have killed her. He just wanted her to go away. And there's a difference. Now, here's where things get interesting. Before I get into her murder, Angelique's curse. Barnabas, you'll kill anybody you love or who loves you. And some people might say, well, Nathan didn't love Barnabas. Wrong. I think they cared enough for each other, like they were brothers. Okay, Jeremiah and Barnabas were like brothers as well. But so were Nathan and Barnabas. Even though Nathan wasn't a Collins, Barnabas, in a way, had to. though they weren't his brothers, they were as much brothers to him as anything else. They were as much brothers to him as sister was his Sarah, as Sarah was his sister. Sorry, and so I really think he cared for them, and in caring for them, it sort of is their undoing. But it also is Barnabas's family's undoing because this is where Nathan turns heel. In a weird, messed up way, Nathan, Lieutenant Nathan Forbes, is he sort of, and I know he doesn't believe in witchcraft himself, and I'll get into that why I say that. He himself is, Angelique sort of puppet in a way. I'm not saying she's controlling him by no means, but in a lot of ways, look at what happens. Okay, Suki gets killed in the old house. Now, Millicent going in Suki's room and finding out that it was actually Nathan's wife. This starts, well, oh, she's mad at him. She wants Barnabas to kill him in a duel. And he's like, kill me? Like, they weren't married or nothing at the time. This here is what causes Nathan to go down a downward path. And it's really, really odd how it happens and how quickly it happens. I mean, this is just the definition of insanity, and it's awesome in the same sense because it's a hell of a story. Now, Forbes Forbes is in town, and a woman is attacked, and he finds a cane, and he can't believe this. Like, I think even Forbes himself is truly, truly shocked by this. Like, wait a second, Barnabas, the Collinsport Strangler? Like, in his mind, he's like, why? Like, why would you? Like, he doesn't understand. But in the same sense, he's past understanding because he's been pushed to the limit with this whole Millicent thing, and he wants to marry her. He wants her money now. I don't I didn't get the sense that Nathan wanted her money when he was talking to her the first time. It seemed like a different Nathan at that point. And now this with Nathan was completely different too. So here you you have Nathan blackmailing Joshua. Oh, I know about Barnabas, and he's like, Joshua's like, Barnabas is in England. Oh no, Barnabas isn't in England. and Barnabas is here. He's a Collinsworth strangler. Go to the old house. He's probably, and yeah, hey, Josh was like, wait a second. Here's the biggest difference when you have one person who thinks they have all the answers in Nathan, and Joshua who knows the truth that Barnabas isn't in England. Barnabas is dead. So when Forbes is saying this, it's like, okay, wait a second though. I can't completely call bullshit on Forbes because where did Forbes get that cane? Only one person has ever had that cane. That's Barnabas, for a lot of his life. So with this, he can't see Forbes like digging up Barnabas's body and pulling out the cane like that. No one knew Barnabas was dead. You know what I mean? Barnabas was in the mausoleum, but no one knew that. So that's what caught. I think that too is what raises Joshua's suspicion. So, you guys know the story there, but I'll get back to the marriage. So, Millicent and Nathan are married. And yeah, Nathan quits his job. He goes, "Oh, we'll go around the world." Lo and behold, what he doesn't know is she's given her money up to her little brother Daniel, and Nathan's gonna try to have Daniel kidnapped and killed. Victoria saves his life um, by shooting Noah Gifford. Noah Gifford, I like that name. And so now this marriage was never about love. This marriage is always about money. Forbes, Joel Carruthers is a heel. Great heel. Great, great heel. Really did a hell of a job. I'm not shocked he did a great job either. What an actor, you know. It's crazy because for most of Dark Shadows, you know, you remember Joel Carruthers as Joe Haskell, lovable Joe Haskell. But now, you know, here's Lieutenant Nathan Forbes, who's a complete and utter dick. Um, so, anyway, it was a nice change. It really was. To see him actually get to play a heel was nice, and I think this just lends credence to, you know, Alexander Isles could have played a heel for sure. Easily could have played a heel, but that wasn't to be. So Daniel is saved. Daniel Collins is saved. Forbes, Forbes, Forbes decides to tell Naomi, which is a mistake, about Barnabas being up. She drinks poison and she dies. This death is going to cause the death of Lieutenant Nathan Forbes. This was it for Barnabas. He decides to kill his once former friend, and he does kill him. With Nathan's death comes what's in the history books. Millicent never married. He had their first of all, he had their marriage annulled. Joshua did. They weren't married that long, so it wasn't hard. And Forbes was dead, obviously. Millicent, it gets put in the history book. Millicent never married. Again, it's really Victoria Winters put a lot of faith in that history book. Some of it is right. Some of it is right. But what shocked Vicky is how wrong things were. Because Joshua Collins was not going to have it revealed that A, his son was a vampire, that B, his brother married his son's wife. Oh, nope, Jeremiah always was going to marry Josette. He wasn't going to have it married that Millicent married a man that wanted her money. When I say Joshua Collins was a proud, stubborn man, he really was. He really, really was. Goodness. Um, hope you guys enjoy this video for the day. I'll be back.